everybody, and welcome to Let's Cook. So today we are going to be making chicken pot pie that you can easily make in just a mug in your microwave. So follow along. First we're going to start with our materials. Okay, so for our ingredients today, first we're going to need the stuff to make our biscuit topping. So for our biscuit topping, you're going to need 4 tablespoons of flour. It's about 38 grams of flour. You will need a half a teaspoon of baking powder. It's about 2 grams of baking powder. You will need 3.5 tablespoons of milk. So that's 64 grams of milk, or you can use buttermilk if you have it. You will also need butter. So you need a half a tablespoon of butter, which is about 9 grams of butter. And you just want it in little cubes like this. You don't want it melted. You don't want it really cold. Just simple room temperature cubes. Next thing you're going to need is some herbs. I've got dried herbs here, so about a half a tablespoon of dried herbs. If you want to do fresh herbs, that's fine, but you're going to want a little bit more, so about a tablespoon of fresh herbs. And lastly, you're going to need some salt. So you need about 1/8 of a teaspoon, a very small amount. It's about a gram of salt, very, very small amount of salt. So that's for our biscuit topping. Now for our filling inside of the chicken pot pie, you are going to need some corn flour. So you will need for this about 7 grams, which is about 1.5 teaspoons of corn flour. You will also need some salt and pepper, just about a pinch of salt and pepper. You're going to need some chicken. So this is a great way to use some leftover chicken. If you had chicken for dinner the night before, just save some of it in the fridge. And you can rip it up into little pieces, about like this, little small pieces. For that, you're going to need about 3 to 4 tablespoons, so about 35 grams of chicken. You will also need a little bit of milk, so you can also use cream for this. In this, you want about a tablespoon or 18 grams of milk. You need some vegetables, so you can use frozen vegetables, or if you make something for dinner the night before, just save a little bit on the side. So here I've got some onions, carrots, a little bit of chives, and you can use peas, whatever vegetables you want to put into here. So for that, you want to use about 2 tablespoons or 23 grams of vegetables. And you need some chicken stock. So that's about 3 tablespoons of chicken stock or 66 grams. All of those numbers, all that information will be in the information box down below. So that's it for ingredients, but you also need a few cooking materials. So you are going to need a mug. You can use 2 mugs like I'm doing, or you can have 1 mug and a small bowl. Either way is fine. You'll need some measuring spoons. So I already measured out all of my materials, but obviously you haven't yet. So you can use the measuring spoons to do that. Or as I told you, some of them you can do in grams. So if you don't have measuring spoons, you can use a kitchen scale like this and just measure out the grams. You will also need a spoon and a fork, and that's it. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start by making our biscuit batter first. So I'm going to take my first mug. Like I said, you can use a small bowl for this part, but I'm just going to use 2 mugs today. So for this, I'm going to start by taking my flour and my baking powder and my salts, and I'm going to put them all into this bowl here. So nice and easy. Okay, and then you're just going to use your fork and stir that up. Don't have to stir very hard, just make sure that they're all mixed together easily. Great, so now you're going to take your butter and drop it into that dry mixture that you just made. So put that butter in there. And then using the back of your fork, you're going to just push down and gently mix it in. You don't want to cream it, so you don't want it to become a cream. You just want to gently mix the butter into the flour. So using the back of your fork, you're just going to push it down. Push it down. You can do this along the side to let it go, and just push it down very gently. You're going to make a little bit of a mess with the flour, that's okay. And this might take a few minutes, so I'm going to speed up and just do this really quick. Okay, so now I've got it mixed up. So it's just like this. You're gonna have a little bit of lumps in it. That's okay. You want some small lumps of butter. That's gonna make your biscuit really nice and yummy later on. So don't mix it too much. You just want a little bit of butter stuck in there, little tiny lumps. So then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna stir in your milk and your herbs. So just slowly add the milk in there. And the herbs. And then you're just gonna mix that up until it's all combined into a nice batter. Great, so my batter is all mixed up, and I'm just going to set that aside, and now we're going to start working on the stuff on the inside of the chicken pot pie. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so now we're going to make the filling for our chicken pot pie. So we're going to use our microwavable mug. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our chicken in. So remember I said you want your chicken to be kind of like this. You don't want just one big chunk of chicken. It's not going to be very good that way. So make sure that you've already pulled it apart into little parts like this, and then just pop that into the mug. Don't put the bowl in the mug. And then you want to add your vegetables. And, oops, it's not all of them. I wash my hands, don't worry, they are clean. Then you want to add your cornstarch. You can use cornstarch or corn flour. Either one's going to work fine. So just pop that on the top. And then your little bit of salt and pepper. And now this is just as much as you want. I like a lot of flavor, so I've got quite a bit in here. You could just do a tiny little pinch, or you don't have to put any at all. Any of that is fine. And pop that in there. And we are just going to mix this all together really quick. You just kind of use the cornstarch to coat the chicken and the vegetables. Just like that, get it all stirred up. Great. Now on top of that, you are going to pour in your milk and your chicken stock. And this is going to make a little bit more a wet chicken. It's going to be really, really good once it's all cooked together. So we're going to put our milk in first. And our chicken stock. Spoon to kind of scoop that in there. And just mix that up. Oh, it smells so good. All right, great. So it's gonna look kind of like a little soup in here, and it should be filling about half of your mug. You don't want it to go too high, so it's better to have a bigger mug while you're doing this. So you're gonna put the chicken in there, have it all mixed up like that, and now we need to put our biscuit on top of it, because that's how we're gonna make it into a pie. So I'm just gonna wipe off this spoon really quick so that I can put the biscuit on top. All right, so I'm gonna just use the spoon, and I'm gonna just plop that biscuit right on top of the mix. Now it's okay if the biscuit sinks into the pie filling a little bit. It's gonna do that just because of gravity. But once you start baking it, it will start to puff up on its own, so don't worry. There we go. All right, great. And now it is time to put it into our microwave. So I'm going to move this on over here, and I will see you in a second. Okay, so now it's time to put our mug into the oven. So my microwave is about 1050 watts, and your microwave might be more than that, might be less than that. So we're gonna start out with 2 minutes. And then we're going to check to see how far it is cooked. If it needs a little bit more time, we will do it in 15-second bursts. You don't want to do too long because you might overcook it. So just going to open up this oven and put it in there. And set that for 2 minutes. Alright, let's open it up and see how it looks. Alright, so it's almost there. So when I'm pushing down, it's a little bit squishy. So we're going to give it another 15 seconds and we're going to see if we can get that middle part to just harden up a little bit. Here we go. So we're gonna let this cool down for just a few minutes so I don't burn myself, but you do want to make sure you eat it hot. So see you in just a second. Okay, so we're back and our chicken pot pie is now out of the microwave. In total, it took about 4.5 minutes in my microwave. Now remember, your microwave could be different. So you want to start with those 2 minutes and do 15-second increments. Because in those 15 seconds, it's really easy to burn your food. So you don't want to go too fast. Just take it slow, every 15 seconds, check in on it, and you will get a really delicious piece like this. So I'm going to take off this little mitt and I'm going to open it up so you can see what it looks like inside. Try to get a bite with everything on it. Didn't work so well. There we go. So we've got some chicken hanging off there and a little bit of steam, and that is our chicken pot pie. So we hope you enjoyed. I hope you get to make this at home. If you do, please send us pictures. I really love to see them, and then we can put them up on our homepage. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye.